All right, Nick, it is time to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. This is a team that went how do you have so much bad news? A couple seasons ago, Dak hurts his ankle. Then he comes back, has a pretty decent season, and now he has hurt his hand. But there is some good news, and that is what we're going to get into. But before we get there, Dallas fans, Cowboys fans across the land, we want to know in the comments below, let us know. The team has been a very interesting start to the season, and there's been some interesting players who have stuck their heads out and looked really nice early on, and we want to know, who do you feel as the biggest standout player so far this season? Who are you liking? Who are you excited to see play some more this season? Leave us a comment in the comments below to let us know who you're looking for. But Nick, what do you got on Dallas?
Yeah, so before I go into the story, I think a guy to talk about is Tyler Smith, the rookie tackle. I think he's done an outstanding job. Obviously, he wasn't supposed to play tackle. It was supposed to be Tyron Smith, but he's done a good job through 2 games. I think he's been probably the most impressive, surprising ways. I know Micah Parsons has been great. But speaking of injured Cowboys, they've got good news out of Dallas, and this involves star wide receiver, number 2 wide receiver, at least Michael Gallup. So this is according to the Dallas Morning News. The Cowboys expect wide receiver Michael Gallup to make his season debut soon. Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy hinted on Thursday that Gallup could play as soon as this week against the New York Giants. Gallup went through his first padded practice last week since first injuring his ACL back in January. The Cowboys have carried Gallup on the active roster since the start of the season, keeping him off the PUP list because they were encouraged he would miss less than 4 games. And now it certainly seems like all signs indicate he is going to start and play against the New York Giants, although Coach Mike McCarthy has said he may be on a snap limit depending on how he feels in his conditioning and things like that. So getting Gallup back into the fold, Mice, is going to be huge because we saw it against Tampa and saw it to a little bit of a lesser extent, but still there against the Bengals. So this Dallas offense, with only CeeDee Lamb being the primary receiver on the outside, it's very, very limited. Look, I love what Noah Brown has done. He's made some plays, but the fact of the matter is you saw the Bengals, you saw the Bucs do this too. They bracket a guy like Lamb. They really limit what he can do. They also focus on stopping the run, and it comes really hard for this Dallas offense to be productive. A guy like Gallup, who can make big plays, either going deep, winning those one-on-one balls, beating people outright with speed, or catching run game as well, will open up the defense, will force defenses to respect the big playability, at least on that side of the field with Gallup. It'll open up things for Lamb. It allows Noah Brown to continue to make plays. Maybe some tight ends get involved more, whether Schultz is healthy or not, that remains to be seen. So just adding one guy like Gallup into the fold, because Dallas really bet big on Gallup, right? They traded away Amari Cooper. They signed Gallup to a pretty big deal. So this is a big bet by Dallas for Gallup in the offseason. To have him finally come back into the fold, right, is huge, because it's been a couple games. Going into the season, this was the plan. This was, all right, let's wait week 1, week 2. We'll get Gallup back. We'll be a lot better. So it sounds like he's right around the corner, right just in time for a big NFC East matchup. What are your thoughts on Gallup and this Dallas offense, Mize?
Yeah, Nick. You know who I think is the happiest about Gallup coming back? That's got to be like Ezekiel Elliott and the running back group.
Yeah.
They've been facing stacked boxes. CeeDee Lamb's getting double covered all the time. No one's respecting the explosiveness, like you talked about, of this Dallas offense. And with a guy like CeeDee Lamb out there, Gallup coming up, you can't double Lamb every play anymore because Gallup's just going to blow the top off of the defense. You can't stack the box because, once again, Gallup's going to blow the top off the defense. So a little softer boxes for a violent runner like Ezekiel Elliott, going to come in. Tony Pollard, a guy who I think is a real player. He is phenomenal player, and he's big playability. So if they give him some more touches, those softer boxes, he's going to be able to get those big chunk plays more often. I think Gallup just really opens up this entire Dallas offense. And then Dak Prescott, it seems like he's coming around. The news hasn't been so doom and gloom for him as it had once been thought of at the beginning of the season. As soon as he comes back, Gallup will be nice and warmed up. The offense is ready for him to come back into. It won't be as tough for him as it was early on in this first game of the season. I think if you're a Cowboys fan, if you just grind it out the next few games, you're gonna get hot late in the season, and that's when you want to get hot. All those New York Giant teams of old, you probably hate them, but you think about, like, how did Eli Manning and those teams win the Super Bowl? They got hot late in the season, and they went on like a tremendous playoff run, and that's something that I could see Dallas doing if Dak comes back at the right moment. Gallup's ready at the right moment. There could be some crazy stuff to start happening.
Yeah, and to your point about Prescott, so Michael Gelkin tweeted this, I'm quoting Gelkin here. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott is back on the practice field, gripping and throwing a training ball. Not throwing footballs yet or taking snaps. 10 days removed from surgery on his right thumb fracture. But this is part of him building towards a quick return as early as week 4 or week 5, the team says. So if you think ahead, Miles, the next 2 games for Dallas are New York this week and then Washington the week after. So going into the season with the injuries at Tyron Smith, okay, we're going to have to start a rookie, Tyler Smith at tackle to replace Tyron Smith. Injuries to Gallup. So looking at the season, starting with the Bucs who are good, the Bengals who everyone thought was good, through 4 games, a lot of people said, 2-2 for Dallas as they get healthier isn't going to be that bad. That's going to be fine. Like you said, sets them up for a late season run. Looking at it now, if Prescott can return week 5, that's after obviously the first 4 games of the season, or by week 5, I should say. So that's after the first 4 games of the season. So with New York and Washington up, I think it's very realistic to say Dallas can split those games, maybe win them both. So they could be 2-2, which a lot of people going into the season, even before Dak got hurt, probably would have said, hey, that's reasonable. That's a tough start to the season, especially the first 2 games. So the fact that they have a strong chance here with Gallup returning, getting into the fold, Prescott looking good, some of these younger guys making plays, that they could really be in a strong position, be 2-2 after 4 games, weathering this storm, getting past these injuries to make a really strong, really actually start to their season a quarter of the way in, which puts Dallas in a strong position the rest of the way.